Good morning everyone, this is Charalambos Pissouros, Senior Analyst at IronFX, bringing you the morning comment for the 23rd of May. G7 meeting, no agreement on FX intervention. Over the weekend, the G7 finance ministers and central bank and governors did not manage to find common ground on the issue of currency interventions, as Japan and the US disagreed on whether the yen's recent moves were disorderly. In our view, this lowers the possibility for intervention by the Bank of Japan, as the nation would likely have to act alone and perhaps risk some political backlash from its G7 counterparts. In any case, with the Bank of Japan's June policy meeting in sight, we expect the yen to remain under selling interest in the near term. We believe that the softness in recent Japanese data is likely to increase speculation for more easing by the Bank of Japan at this meeting, something that could also support the Nikkei in the days before that gathering. As for today, during the European day, we get the preliminary manufacturing and service sector PMI data for May from several European countries and the Eurozone as a whole. All the indices are expected to show a modest increase, which could add to speculation that Eurozone's GDP growth may remain resilient in the second quarter and thereby cause the euro to reverse some of its recent losses. On top of the salvo of easing measures introduced by the ECB in March, solid economic growth may be another factor that could keep the bank sidelined in coming months. In our view, officials are likely to remain on hold at least until the third quarter, as some of the March measures have not been put into effect yet. In the US, the preliminary market manufacturing PMI for May is due to be released. We have two speakers on today's agenda, St. Louis Fed President James Bullard and San Francisco Fed President John Williams. As for the rest of the week, on Tuesday we get Germany's ZEW survey for May, and expectations are for a modest increase in both indices. On Wednesday, investors' gaze is likely to remain fixed on the Bank of Canada policy meeting. The bank is expected to stand pat in the aftermath of the extraordinary fiscal stimulus measures introduced by the government in March. However, given that the recent wildfires in Alberta, we expect officials to reintroduce a dovish bias in the statement and suggest that if there are second-round effects from this situation, policy responses may be warranted. From Germany, we get the IFO survey for May. On Thursday, we get the second estimate of the UK GDP for the first quarter. Data released after the first GDP estimate showed that the fall in retail sales during March was considerably less than previously estimated. Even though we don't believe that this was significant enough to revise GDP growth upwards even fractionally, it still shifts the risks of any potential revision to the upside in our view. Finally, on Friday, in the US, the event that is set to attract the most attention is a speech by Fed Chair Yellen at Harvard University. Given that indicators for the second quarter have been supportive for the US economy so far, we expect her to reaffirm that June remains a live meeting. This could bring forth market expectations for the next rate increase. However, our base case scenario remains that the committee is likely to hike once this year, and that September and December appear to be the most suitable months for that. We believe that even if incoming data continue to improve, the committee may need more time before it feels confident that such improvements are durable. What's more, Britain's referendum on EU membership could be another complication for a June action, as the vote is to be held just a week after the Fed policy meeting. From the US, we also get the second estimates of GDP and the core PC deflator, both for the first quarter. In Japan, the CPI data for April are due to be released. Although no forecast is available for the headline figure, the core rate is expected to have dipped further into the negative territory. Also in Japan, the leaders of the G7 nations will gather for a two-day summit. Given the disagreement between the US and Japan on FX intervention at the meeting of G7 central bank governors and finance ministers, we don't expect the nation's leaders to bring the subject back on the table. For more information, including technical analysis, please read the full comment on IronFX.com or download our app and get all the information you need to trade. Also, you can follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, or circle us on Google Plus to get more trading ideas. This is Charalambos Pissouros, Senior Analyst at IronFX, wishing you solid trading.